guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm gonna show you my update on my Franken palette project. And as you guys know, I use all of my Natasha Denona palettes, which I have all of the 15 pan palettes from them and the 228 or the 328 pan palettes that they have. I have three. And I also have a mini palette from her, and I use them as a collection of singles, and that's how I create these Franken palettes. So what I do is I create a palette that inspires me, that makes me wanna reach for it every single day, and that way I can keep panning as many Natasha Denona shadows as I can. These are pricey palettes, but they're so worth it, and I've been doing these for about 3 years now, or 4 years. This is my 4th year doing it, and I just recently restarted the project. And you guys, I have 8 pans to show you. You probably saw the three first pans on the introduction, because I took longer than I wanted to film the introduction. So I showed you basically roughly 3 of the pans that I've hit, and I hit more pans now, and I have here the update to show you of the pans that I know I will hit for my next one. If you want to see my update on my Franken palette, if you want to see how the mother palettes end up looking after placing the pans that I've hit on them, and if you want to see everything about my love for the Natasha Denona shadows that I add on this Franken palette, then just keep on watching. Okay, so this year I decided to create my Franken palette on this ColourPop palette. So I'm not going to show you how the palette is looking right now, because I always move it around, but I wanted to show you that on this big palette that I have from Adept that I purchased through Amazon, I will leave everything linked below. I have the pans that I've hit so far, because I wanted to start removing them from the palette so that I didn't get the temptation to keep using it and expanding the pan instead of working on new pans to hit. Oh, I have 9 pans here, and 3 of them or 4 of them are from palettes that I haven't hit pan before. So the first 3 pans, and you can see them right here, the first 3 pans I've hit are from the Glam palette, you guys. And this is so wonderful, because the Glam palette, I think it already has 6 pans, so that would mean that now it has 9 pans. And that's pretty exciting, because only 6 eyeshadows are left on that palette for me to hit pan on. Then these 2 are from the Dream palette, which had no pans before I restarted this project. And then I have one that is the first pan for my Retro Glam palette, another pan for my Retro palette, the first pan for the Leela palette, and then the first pan for the Blue Purple palette from Natasha Denona. I'm gonna show you a close-up of the pans, and then I'm also gonna show you how the mother palettes end up looking after placing these pans back in them. Okay, you guys, so the first palette is the Retro palette, and for this one I hit one more pan. I have 3 pans on my Franken palette, and I hit pan on Psychedelic. Is this one right here in the center, and now this palette has 3 pans instead of 2, and I'm still working on 2 other shades to just get progress out of them, or just hit pan on them on my Franken palette. The other 2 palettes that I hit were from my Dream palette, which is basically one of my newest palettes from my Natasha Denona collection, but this is by far, I think, my favorite palette, with the Glam one, and now the new I need a nude palette, because I'm so dying for cool tones. But this is sort of a core palette in my collection. It comes with cool tones, it comes with a trio chrome, it comes with a black, and I need a black for my perfect palette. So I'm gonna place the 2 eyeshadows that I hit pan on from this one, so that you guys can see how it's looking right now. Okay, so I still have 3 pans that I have on my Franken palette from this palette, but I hit pan in these 2, and now you can see that it will look more used and abused, which is something that I want for all of my Natasha Denona palettes. The Natasha Denona Retro Glam has one of my favorite Natasha Denona shades, which is Flutter. And I removed 2 shades from this palette to put on my Franken palette, and one of them has pan, and it's Flutter right here. This one has a beautiful reflectiveness. It reminds me a ton of Kava from the Gold palette in the consistency. It looks like one of these, oh my god, I can't remember the name of the formula, a Chroma Crystal eyeshadow, because It's basically one that, even though you can see it here with a base, when you swatch it on your hand, it's basically has a sheer base with shimmer, and those shades for me, they change the game of any eye look that you're wearing, and they make a beautiful inner corner highlight. I'm not going to talk about what I'm going to do for the eyeshadows that I need to replace on my Franken palette, but I think I'm thinking about grabbing one from the Retro Glam palette to work on them a little bit more. That's the first pan for that one, which is also a newest addition to my collection. Then the Glam, oh my goodness, you guys, this is gonna look so loved now because I hit pan on blend on outer eyelid number 2 and outer eyelid number 1. So now I have 9 pans on this one, and crease is one of the shades that I have on my Franken palette. Still I have on my Franken palette. So you can see that I have these 2 pans, these 4 pans, and these 3 pans for this one. It looks used and abused, you guys. Then the Leela palette, which is my least favorite palette from my Natasha Denona collection, and it's one of the newest as well that I purchased, I think, not last year, but the year before that. When I was pregnant, I think I purchased this. It's gonna have 2 years now. This one I thought I was gonna love because it comes with browns, it comes with these warm tones that I'm not that into right now, this cool tone, and then purples that I don't have that many in my collection. But this ended up being one of those palettes that the formula is not the same as all of my Natasha Denona eyeshadow formulas. I'm gonna keep working on it, but so far it's not my favorite one. And I think I will make progress on it and try to use it more and more. So I have pan on this shade. I was using that instead of a black. And then I have one of the other shades right here on my Franken palette. And then last but not least, the 9th pan, it's from the blue purple palette. And for this one, I only had one shadow, and it's the shade Golden Rose. And I hit major pan on that one. Those are the shades that I tend to reach for. So you can see that this palette is basically brand new. I purchased it when I purchased the Leela one. I just think that I could remove a few of the shades right here and put it in my Franken palette. I still don't know, but so far it has one pan. So that means that 4 palettes that didn't have pan in them, the Dream, Retro Glam, Leela, and Purple Blue, now have pan in them. This is how my Franken palette is looking after removing those shades. I think I removed a few and put them back on their home. I don't remember, but I'm not that sure. So I'm gonna show you how this one is looking. I'm gonna fill it out with 4 more shades and maybe 2 more right here, and then 2 big shades from the bigger palettes. And what I wanted to show you guys is that I have progress in other shades. So I'm thinking that by my next update, I should have pan on Indian Gold, which is from the Green Brown palette, maybe in the Trio Chrome Kinetic eyeshadow, on Sculptor, Viva Sculptor eyeshadow, and then also on my Viva Tusk. Then for the mini palettes or the midi palettes, I should have pan on Sands from Sendo. I'm hoping to expand the dip on Morgan from the Sunrise palette, expand the dip as well on Blackest Black from my Dream palette, then to maybe have pan or expand the dip on Jassy from the Retro Glam, expand the dip or heat pan on Helio from the Retro palette, expand the dip on Elysian from the Yaka palette, which would be maybe the first pan from that palette, expand the dip or heat pan in Dainty from the Pastel palette, and then expand the dip on Nurture from the Dream palette. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rearrange the shades that I have right here, but before that I want to show you the shades that I'm gonna place on the palette. So I need to grab 6 midi shades and then 2 of the larger shades from these palettes. Okay, you guys, so the pans that I chose are Center Eyelid from the Glam palette, Then Retro Glam Oz, because this could be a beautiful inner corner, green inner corner highlight. Then to give more warmth, Familia Dream palette. Sendo Balance, because this could be a different transition. For a lighter bone color with a twist is Mod from the Retro palette. And then also from the Retro palette, the shade Andy. And then for the two bigger eyeshadows, I decided to grab something from Circo Loco, which is one of the only palettes in my collection that doesn't have pan in them. So I grabbed a Snow Cone, which could be also a bright inner corner highlight, and then Flip, which is a beautiful aqua shade. Now I'm gonna rearrange the Franken palette and show it to you so you guys can see it. Okay, you guys, so I thought it wasn't gonna fit, but this is how the new palette is looking. I put all of the neutrals right here, almost all of them, and then I put some pop of colors right here. And then these are the big size pans. So I'm gonna see if I can remember where they're from. I think this one is from Retro. This, I think it's from Glam. This one is from Metropolis. This one it's from Yaka. I think this is Retro too. This one it's from this one is from Dream, Retro Glam, Yaka palette, Sendo, Dream. This is from Retro, Dream, Sendo, Sunrise, Retro, Pastel. This is from Dream, this is from Retro Glam, this is from Pastel, and this one it's from Metropolis. Then this is from Circo Loco, this one too, Green Brown, Biba. This is from, which one is this? I don't remember. Trio Chrome, and then Biba as well. I think this is from the Leela palette. I'm not sure. So yeah, I have a good variety of colors right here, and I have a lot of neutrals, and neutrals always make me want to reach for the palette, and then when I see the pop of color, I sometimes use it and sometimes I won't. For the pops of color, what I want to do is always make progress on them instead of finishing them up. And then for the neutrals, they are the thing that I want to hit pan on the most because they're the easiest for me to reach for on an everyday basis. And then also the inner corners. That's why I choose inner corners with a hint of a different shade, because they make my looks more fun, and I also make sure that I reach for different ones from different palettes. So that's it for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoy seeing the looks that I create with this palette. I film on an everyday basis almost. So you will see looks with me using the palette while me wearing them. Today I have the I Need a Nude palette, and I didn't grab any shades from that because I want that palette to be the main focus of my month. I usually pair my palettes. I never use one palette on its own. So you will see at least 3 new pans on my next update, but I'm hoping for 5 for each update at least. If you enjoyed this project, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a video. Remember that I always leave a question in the comment section below, and that the YouTube algorithm has changed. So now for me to be shown to other people that love this type of content, you have to watch the entire video. So if you can stay on my videos for as long as you can, I can be with you while you do your makeup, like most of my favorite YouTubers do for me. I love you, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.